गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So last week we were seeing that we are in 7th chapter of the Amrutanubhava, verse number 116. 117 we had to start, and 116 was about that our efforts to know the truth, to know the self, should be given up. It should lead to effortless abidance, and here it was told the only thing to do is to be silent, just be and expose oneself to silence till the mind is quietened, then emptied, and then the aham idam vrittis get united, and the pure consciousness that I am is experienced without an experiencer. Being effortless is the highest sadhana. This was the last week. We concluded with this thought, and how does the aham and idam merge into each other? Normally, subject and the object are different, isn't it? I am the subject, you are the object. But here, the subject is searching for the object called I. You understand? And as long as the subject I is searching for I, it will remain in objectivity. He will remain in thoughts. It must lead to silence. It must lead to silence. So, if at all you want to do something and you are addicted to doing something, bring yourself to silence again and again and again and again and again. In that silence, the revelation happens. In the silence, the self-abidance that I am reveals without a thought. This I am revelation, it is happening to you all the time, but it's more pronounced when you wake up in the morning. Your mind is absolutely empty, and you know you are lying in the bed. You are. After that, after some time, the thoughts start coming about, I have to do this, I have to do that, exercise, brush, this, that, now I have class, etc., etc. Any efforts and struggle to know the Atman and to reject Anatman is like what? Jnaneshwara Maharaj is taking one step further. Normally we see in the Shankaracharya Paddhati that first we reject, I am not the world, I am not the body, I am not the senses, I am not the thoughts, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am the Atman. Here he says that any effort and struggle to know the self, how can you focus on yourself? That is an impossibility. And to reject that which is other than Atma, Anatma. To reject Anatma. What is Anatma? Everything that is changing is Anatma, isn't it? Is futile. How can you reject that which is not existing in the first place? How can you reject the blueness of the sky? How can you reject the mirage waters? How can you reject the shadow? How can you reject the individuality? Because individuality is existing in its own absence. Another word for it, how can you reject, do neti neti? I am not the ego. The one who's saying he is itself the. But ego does not exist. Ego is a ghost, individuality is a ghost. It's all mithya. Anatman is all mithya. And what is the status of mithya? That which appears but is not, isn't it? So that which is only appearing but actually is not there, how can you remove it? Because you didn't create it. Your efforts will be futile to remove the waves from the ocean, isn't it? Where do the waves exist? In their own absence. Because what is the truth? Water. Apply these examples on yourself and come to the silence. Here he says, Ka mastakanta nirdharili chaya udo pahe apuli tayachi fankavali buddhi jaisi. Just as one who decides to jump over his own shadow is insane, any efforts to jump over the head of one's own shadow will be foolish. It will never succeed. Such efforts are futile. They only indicate that the individual's understanding is very dull. And yet, every child, you, me, everyone, we have tried that in our childhood, isn't it? To jump over a shadow. To trick the shadow. How you can't? The only answer lies in accepting yourself to be the infinite consciousness in contrast to the individual. Individual consciousness is identified consciousness, infinite consciousness is independent consciousness. And that identification is as if. And on account of that, we are suffering, we are seeking, only because we are not accepting that we are the infinite. We want to know the infinite through the finite thoughts. How stupid can that be? Chanting Aham Brahmasmi and the teacher telling thousands of times Tattvamasi, Tattva, is not going to lead to anything. If the search is objective in nature. In the same way, taise tanakoni sarvata hete aisi vyavastha kari to chukla hata vastu chajiye. Similarly, one who tries to define the Atman will only miss the truth. Define means try to work it out. And that's what we do. We try to work out the self. How do we work it out? Through the words, through the thoughts. You are not trying to work out the self. I'm sorry. Then what are you trying to work out? You are trying to undo the mind. You are trying to undo the thoughts. You are putting efforts to undo the thoughts so that silence can pervade. You cannot work out the Atma. Therefore, continuous exposure to silence is very important. Therefore, do whatever, but get to that silence. Be that silence, conscious silence. Efforts are not put to realize the self. Efforts are put to empty the mind. those who put in a lot of efforts to define the truth in one way or another, what will their condition be like? They will only miss the truth. In fact, they are running away from the truth. What should one do then? So as long as we are trying to define the truth, we are trying to catch the truth in a web of words. Definition is a web of words. And what is the truth? Truth is transcendental. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. How can that truth be caught in the web of words? Cannot be possible. Then what is to be done? One method is laying the face down flat on the ground so that the shadow comes under him, and then there is no need to jump on the head. This indicates the bhakti marg, total surrender to the Lord and the teacher. Total surrender to the Lord. What is face down? When we go to the temple, we do namaskar, sashtang namaskar. Is it face up or face down? Eyes closed, face down, and nobody can see the shadow. Swamiji is saying this is the surrender to the Lord. One must cultivate, inculcate surrender to the Lord as well as the teacher. The second method is to face the light. There will be no shadow. This is Jnana Marg, the path of discrimination and enquiry. So where is your mind? Is your mind contemplating on the world? Or are you contemplating on the self? Continuously thinking, contemplating. Yes, we know that truth cannot be caught in the words. Be in that poise all the time. Within. Be in that poise. So face down, Swamiji is saying, is bhakti, and face up, facing to the light, is gyaan marg. Continuing. See, we are not against thoughts, but those thoughts entertained in our mind should be that of discrimination, not anything else. If you have a thought, oh, I want to read Amrutanubhava, no, I think Gita is better. This is not discrimination. Discrimination is only between the constant and the changing. And while we are discriminating, our poise and recognition and discovery is, initially it may be by way of thought, that I am the constant one. And this type of inquiry between the constant and the changing will eventually dissolve the changing and lead to conscious silence. Because your attention is on the constant, not on the changing. Initially it is a thought only, no doubt. But when there is no changing as a reference for the constant to identify with, for the consciousness to identify with, for the I to identify with, then there is no purpose of the I thought also to survive. And when the I thought, a referenceless I is realization. Referenceless I is conscious silence. Reference is always through thought, huh? Remember this. If there is some reference for the eyes, then I am the seer. If there is no reference called object, there is no need for subject to be called a subject. Only when these two referential come together. ये balloons कैसे आए अभी? You saw the balloons?
Yes, Swamiji.
Where did they come from? I didn't.
No, iPhone has a gesture, no, Swami. If you put like this, it will come. You try again, it will come.
Huh?
Just, yeah.
Yeah, again it came.
Yes.
अरे तेरी की. You can't stop that? No? Alright. 2. So it's celebrating 2, not 1. ये फिर आ गया. You can see it? You can see the balloons?
Yes, Swamiji.
Ah, okay. This is something
That is
new.
celebration of happiness, Swamiji.
Celebration of going to 1 from 2. Okay, good. Referenceless existence. Something new. He who is mature in Vedantic thought should drop the preoccupation with kartavya karma. He who is, this is very important point. We are all lost in, isn't it my duty, isn't it my duty? Kartavya karma is, isn't it my duty as a wife to take care of my husband? Isn't it my duty as a mother to take care of the children and give them direction and think about them? And then on top of that we say it is very difficult to disengage from them also. He who is mature in Vedantic thought, maturity in Vedantic thought. What is this maturity? This maturity is when your mind is fixated on the constant in contrast to the changing. Duty, question or duty only comes in the changing. Question or duty only comes to the ego. Isn't it a greater duty to dissolve yourself and realize that you are the self? And we are still stuck at the body level. My duty at the body level. Forget about body also. At a relationship level, that is also mithya. And that becomes more important. No doubt our scriptures talk about it. Because until and unless that is not done properly, you cannot move to the next. Otherwise that regret and guilt will keep haunting you from inside. He who is mature in Vedantic thought, that is discrimination, should drop the preoccupation with kartavya karma. What is karma? Doership and enjoyership is karma, isn't it? Or ego. Ego alone is expressing as the karta and bhokta, doer and enjoyer. And what does he do? As a doer, karma. And he is not doing, so we are doing, but don't do it with a purpose. Let it happen. Let it happen. You have practiced it so many years. At the right time, the hunger will come. At the right time, the right thoughts will come towards your children. At the right time, you will go to sleep. At the right time, you will get up. Don't worry about it. unnecessarily we get stressed and anxious. Instead, what should we do? Keep discriminating, keep contemplating, keep taking the name of the Lord. By worshipping Him through the performance of his own duty, does man attain perfection? So, how do you convert karma into a sadhana? By seeing that all actions are performed by him through this body to himself, which is the world. So, the Lord alone is the world. The ocean alone is expressing through the waves. The Lord alone is expressing as the whole world. And in that world, you are also there as this individual. So he is expressing through you, performing the actions towards the world. Let it happen. If it doesn't happen, don't stress, man. Let it happen. Then what do I do then if everything is happening by his will? You contemplate. Allow that also to happen. A point will come initially. Why this is told is because when a seeker begins, his biggest obstacle is to, it's a duel, it's a fight between contemplation on the truth or taking the name of the Lord and doing the duties in the world. And this continuous tussle is going on. No, but I can't be taking the name of the Lord all the time. I have to do my duties. I have to go to work. I have to earn the money. I have to put food on the table. I have to take care of the children. I have given birth to them. And the other part of you is, no. This is how long I will continue with this. I have to, surrender to the Lord. I have to realize myself. This continuous tussle is going on. One side is getting pulled to absorb in the reality, and the other is getting pulled to be absorbed in the relativity. And that relativity is not the whole world, it's mainly our nears and dears. My duty towards the parents, my duty towards my children, my duty towards the society, my duty to, and it goes on. This duty business, somewhere, someday, by correct understanding, this obsession must go. And it must be replaced with your duty towards realization, if you are a seeker. Then what about the rest of the duty? They will happen, don't worry. They will still happen. But they will happen now. Before you are taking ownership of those duties, and when they didn't happen, you felt guilty. Now you see it as the doing of the Lord. All activity is not, you are not initiating the activity. No wave is moving because of its free will. Is the movement of the ocean which is making the wave also move and appear. Understand this. It's the divine will which is making the activities happen. But this idiot thinks that I am doing the activity. One must transcend that. And how to do this was also shown by Lord Krishna. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, and whatsoever austerities you practice, do that as an offering to me. This is the first step. As long as the individuality is there, keep offering the actions to the Lord. In everything, speaking, listening, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, acting, waking, dreaming, sleeping, see it as his play with himself. Try to see how he must be seeing. That is contemplation. Don't become the waker, dreamer, sleeper. See how he would be, he would see all of them. Then he will not see only one waking, one dream, one sleep in this one character. When he sees everything. He sees it as a principle, isn't it? Then that is wisdom. Let every action be associated and spiced with the divine name and total surrender to the divine principle, the upholder of our very existence. Then all efforts will drop away as we slowly migrate from putting efforts, and that putting efforts was done as that I'm putting these efforts, but these efforts are also are being initiated by His will. Keep thinking like this. It will lead to effortlessness. Effortlessness is being, struggle is becoming. It invites frustration. It takes one away from Paramatma, who is effortless, conscious, blissful existence. He loses grip on himself like the man who tries to jump over the head of his own shadow. See, yesterday I went to our this time Kailash group in 2023. Some of us got together and at someone's place, Soundarajan's place. And then after that, one couple is there. They are from London, and they came, and after the just 10 minutes satsang at the end of the puja and everything, and then I was taking the food, and he came. Swamiji, can I ask you something? I said yes. 74 years old or 73 years old. I said yes. How do I overcome anger? I didn't say anything. Then he said, my wife tripped and fell down 3 times in a day today, this morning, and I get angry. I said, you get angry because you love her and you don't want her to be damaged, you don't want her to be a cripple, you don't want, because you love her, that's why. No, but that is right, but why am I getting angry if I love her? I said, then suddenly someone asks you a question like this, what do you answer? Our Takya Kalam answer is Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa Sangas Teshu Upajayate. But that is not the answer that he is seeking. His question is genuine. He says, why am I getting angry if my wife is falling 3 times? You tell me what could be the answer. Why is he getting angry?
Because of loss of getting love, so he's getting greedy now that she should not be affected. Or she should not
Okay, he's greedy for more association, more love, and if something happens to her, he is thinking about himself, what will happen to him. That is leading to anger. Okay, what else? What just now Nagaraj said, what does it show you? What is the disposition of the person?
Love, Swamiji.
Attachment?
Yes, but in the context of what we were just studying for last half an hour, 1 hour, his attention is outside. He's searching for love outside. His anger is towards outside. And at that moment when he was saying like this, I didn't know, I was just empty in my mind. And suddenly one answer came. I said, you are angry with her for falling 3 times. You fall also 3 times every day. Do you get angry with yourself? He said, no, I didn't fall. His attention is on the body. Huh? I said, come. You fall as a waker. From being the Atma, you fall down as a waker. Then in Sandhi period, you are with yourself. Then you fall down as a dreamer. Then in Sandhi period, you are yourself. Then again you fall down as a sleeper. But do you ever get angry with yourself? His eyes became moist. He says, that's why I love you, Swamiji. Straight away hit the bullseye. Where the answer came from within, I also don't know. See? Suddenly it clicked to him. Yeah. We don't want to lose our near and dear ones. That is attachment. But we have seen that, not in this, in Panchadashi it comes, that everyone loves something or someone for their sake only. Wife is a wife not for the sake of wife. The wife, I love wife, I relate to wife, I get married to a woman and call her wife for my sake. I love my children not for the sake of children. I love the children for my sake. So also I get angry with someone for my sake. But do I get angry with myself? For the true self? That so many years have passed. Dekho. Struggle is becoming, it invites frustration, and this is the frustration which is expressing as anger. Because where is it directed? Outwards. In us, where is it directed? Thoughtwards. Where is it directed? Wanting an experience of realization. Gaya kaam se. Wanting an experience of the Lord. Why has the Lord not come and given me darshan yet? Because you have not become empty yet. You become empty, he will, if he wants to come, he will come. This expectation has to be given up. It takes one away from the Paramatma who is effortless. The entire Leela of the Paramatma, the entire manifestation and unmanifestation that is taking place, which is the potency, which is the potentiality of that Paramatma. Or when we talk about potentiality, it's Ishvara. It is effortless. When you take ownership of sleep and sleep is not coming, then it becomes a struggle. When you are awake and you don't want to get out of bed, then it becomes a struggle. Waking becomes a struggle. But every day, coming and going of waking, dream and deep sleep is effortless. It's happening. Even more so effortless is the Paramatma. Because when it comes to waking, dream and sleep, I take ownership. I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper. If you are the witness, it's effortless. Paramatma, who is effortless, conscious, blissful existence. That is our true nature, that is our essence, that is the constant principle, that is the substratum, that's the foundation. He loses grip on himself like the man who tries to jump over the head of his own shadow. When we struggle, we behave like that. We forget that we are the infinite one, and therefore we struggle like that stupid to jump over his shadow. Like that we struggle to know our own essential nature. If you struggle to see your eyes by your own eyes, what is going to happen to you? It will only lead to frustration, agitation, restlessness, and eventually out of frustration you will pull your eye out of your eye sockets. I want to see it. Then you can't put it back in. You don't need to take the eyeball out of the socket to see the eye. You just know it. That the vision is there. Just like that. I am consciousness. Full stop. Be the consciousness. The struggle leads to becoming. And that becoming is unnatural. Initially, I was a illiterate, ignorant person. Now I started doing Hatha Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Now I have become a meditator. I have become a Hatha Yoga practitioner. I have become a Pranayamer. I have become the one who is practicing Samadhi. And one day, for whatever reasons, if you ate lot of chilies at night, or you ate some food which troubled your tummy, and next morning you are not able to get into the samadhi, immediately agitation. Don't become meditator, don't become the seer. If you don't become the seer, will the eyes stop seeing? If you don't become the thinker, will the mind stop thinking? If you don't become the waker, dreamer, sleeper, will the waking, dream and sleep not continue to express? The Leela will go on. Because it's only a phenomena. आता सांगी जेथे केऊते शब्दाचा संसार नाही जेथे दर्शना बीजे तेथे जाणीव आणि. How can one ever describe the self where the use of words is ineffective? Because the thoughts require objectification in knowledge. I have already explained this. Thoughts require a reference for a subject. Only then a thought can appear. Remember the three things that go in a thought: subject, object, and instrument of knowledge. Aham, idam. Aham is the subject, I is the subject, idam is an object, anything, it can be laptop, it can be phone, it can be you, it can be light, it can be the fan, it can be the whatever, body, and the instrument of knowledge. If sound is the object, then ears are the instrument. If color and form is the object, then eyes are the instrument for the eye, and so on. Then only a thought is formed. And we have already seen self, pure consciousness is that where words, which is that which the words cannot illuminate. And words are nothing but thoughts in the mind. Every word is a thought in the mind. And therefore, the composition of thought is subject, object, and instrument of knowledge. So every word is made up of these three: subject, object, and instrument of knowledge. And as long as, and now what has happened is the object has become the I, the subject is I, the subject is trying to know the object called subject. The I is trying to see the I. The mind is trying to comprehend the mind. Hey, Bekoof. It's an impossibility. There will be no result. Either it will lead to frustration, agitation, and if the approach is correct, it will lead to silence. It can take you both ways.
Swamiji,
Ah,
if each word has got the three, how do we relate that with the word Om?
it is also same. My connotation of Om is Om represents the three worlds and beyond. It represents. So it's a representation.
So what's the instrument?
Your mind. Your mind is the instrument. Or your speech. If you're chanting, attention is on the speech, then speech is the instrument. If you are silent in speech and the Om is appearing in the mind, Om, Om, Om is going on, and somewhere it stops and you contemplate on the Om as given in Mundaka Upanishad or Mandukya Upanishad, then you are still thinking in the mind by various words. It must lead to silence. It must lead to conscious silence. If it is not leading to that, then Om is just an objective pursuit. It will bring you few siddhis and that's it. Every Om is also, for this also some activity is required now. At the physical level. At the mental level also, there is a wave. It is appearing, it is staying, then it is dissolving, isn't it? Om also is creation, maintenance and destruction, isn't it?
Swamiji.
So whatever is coming into existence, staying in existence and going out of existence is not the truth. But compared to all the objects and all the words in the world, Om is potent because it includes all of them. Just like one word, there is Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, etc., etc., etc. Everything tastes, every ocean tastes different, etc., etc. Color is different, etc. But the moment you say All these are waters, they have their own qualities, but it is all H2O. The moment you say H2O, then all the differences vanish. So all the differences of the world, of the creation, they vanish the moment you take Om, because it includes all of them.
Yes.
So rather than going after various things in the world to come to the truth, you catch that which includes the total world, which is expressing as the total world. That is smarter thinking, isn't it?
Yes, Swami.
And then through that you take the jump. So just like that pole vaulter takes the pole and raises himself very high and then crosses the bar and leaves the pole. So you take the Om, you raise yourself to the required height, glimpse that you have completely unscathed come across the bar of changing and constant. You can see the constant and drop the support that you had taken, which is Om. And how do you do that? By putting your attention where the Om begins and where the Om concludes.
Okay, Swamiji.
ठीक है?
Swamiji, thank you.
In how many ways should I say the same thing? There can be no meaningful expression through Shabda Vyavahara. So when we are talking about putting your, first we included the entire variety in one syllable Om. Then from that one syllable Om, when our mind is totally focused, we bring our attention to the beginning or the conclusion of Om. In that, what is happening? Even that Om is getting dissolved. And what is remaining? You. Conscious silence. There can be no meaningful expression through Shabda Vyavahara, use of words, where the pure self is concerned. So this is an understanding, and all our practices must lead to this. All our practices must lead to. Very rare few are there who listen and straight away they are there. Arjuna was one of them. He didn't do any practice. He listened diligently and applied. Ramchandra ji, Krishna Bhagavan, when they went to sage Vashishta or Sandipani, they listened. In 3 days they imbibed everything, and but that was only apara knowledge. Krishna came to know he is Purna Brahma, Purna Purusha. Ramchandra ji, he came to know, he still had doubts, he contemplated, he discussed, and in Yoga Vashishta he came to know what his true nature is. Why? He was sincere in his seeking. We are distracted in our seeking. After the class, what is the breakfast? Where is the grandchild? Where is the children? Where is this? Where is that? I have to let that all happen, but don't leave the connection with the self or with your japa mantra. Let that be in the background all the time. That is more important than what is taking place at the body level. What actions are happening are secondary. Bodily actions are happening is secondary. What is happening at speech level is primary. Then what is happening at the speech level is secondary, and where our attention is, that is the source of the speech, that is primary. That is Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para. Para is the primary. So always our disposition should be such that we are always coming to the primary source, to the essence, with this clarity that that primary source is the Brahman and that alone is the Atman. This we keep repeating this in Upanishads, in Gita, here, but we have to ourselves make a firm conviction in our mind that under any circumstances my commitment to this is not going to be diluted. Let wherever the life place me. That deep yearning, that deep commitment, and that deep commitment is not in stress. A deep conviction always happens when you are relaxed. When you're cool, when you're happy. It was said in the earlier OV that any effort to describe the truth like this or like that is useless. The Shabda Samsara begins from the Akara and ends in Hakara, both located in a point called Anuswara nasal sound to become Aham. Akara and Makara. A begins from here. A, E, you know the Sanskrit vowels and consonants. The first vowel is A. A, E, U, Ru, E, I, O, Aha. Then Ka, Kha, Ga, Ga, Cha, 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 Ya, Ta, Ta, Da, Da, Na, Pa, 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 Ma, Ya, Ra, La, Va, Sha, Sa, Ha. Aham. So, in the word aham, starting from a and ending in hum, the entire expression, formulation of all the consonant, vowels and consonants is included. All the words, all what I just chanted, all of them go to make the world. Every consonant and every vowel goes to make some aspect of the creation. Every alphabet, consonant, ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, ya, ta, ta, da, da, na, ta, ta, da, da, na, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma, ya, ra, la, va, sha, sha, sa. All of them are not word. If there is no word, there is no creation. How can you say that, sir? In deep sleep, do you have a creation? There are no words there in the mind. Can you experience a creation? But it is there outside. I am only sleeping in this creation. For whom is it outside? For those who are awake. You are in silence. Your mind is completely zero. For that mind which is completely zero, completely dissolved, completely unmanifest, no thought eruption, there is no creation. It's a wrong argument that I am sleeping but the world is outside. For whom? Ask that question first. Our approach here is a subjective approach. The world outside is for others who are awake. When you become conscious of the silence, similar experience, no world. Because no word, no world. No thoughts, no world. This you have to experience, and only they can experience this, those who are practicing Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para. Only they, you have to go through this process to understand what I am just saying here, or what Swamiji is saying here. Or be smart enough that while you are listening to the teacher, at that moment you are deeply understanding what is being communicated, because your attention is on the subject, not on the intellect. You are assessing it in the right manner. The Shabda Samsara begins from Akara and ends in Hakara, both located and in a point called Anuswara, nasal sound, to become Aham. Ma, when you say that's the Anuswar. It comes from the nose, nasal. In the absolute Aham, there is no idam. A man has the potentiality and freedom to express as husband, father, etc., or withdraw from such expressions. Being immune to relative experience is being established in the absolute being. Gauna Atma, Mithyatma, Mukhyatma. What is Gauna Atma? A referential existence. I am husband because of my wife. With reference to wife, I am called husband. With reference to children, I am called father. With reference to siblings, I am called brother. With reference to teacher, I am called a student. With reference to the whatever, this list goes on. This is Gaunatma, virtual reality. In that virtual reality, there is another level. That is called Mithyatma, that which is attached to the illusions. Its reference is the mind. And at the mind level, this referential existence is waking, dream and deep sleep. So first was virtual. Within one state you took on some roles. Now within the mind you are taking on the three roles of waker, dreamer and sleeper. They are also mithya. They are also illusions. As much as the father, mother, brother, sister were illusions, and those illusions were imagined in another illusion called the waker or the dreamer. See how deep the whole goes. And who are you essentially? Mukhyatma. So are you accept yourself as the absolute? If you accept yourself as the waker dreamer, then you are in the illusion. You are accepting yourself as an individual, which is mithyatma. If you accept yourself as the father, mother, daughter, sister, in that mithyatma, you have fallen down even further to be the virtual one, not even the illusory one. Illusion you cannot do anything about. Only recognize that it is an illusion. The virtual also you cannot do anything. You only decided, you only are caught up in the relation. Observe it, that's all. Because your decision, I'm not going to be attached and get caught in the virtual. Yet, if the wife comes, again the husband will come out. If the children come, again the father will come out. Involuntarily it will happen. Just understand that this is how it is. That's it. And don't forget the Mukhyatma. Being immune. What is being immune? You are not denying the mithyatma and the gaunatma. You are not denying the illusion or the reality. Can you remove the blueness of the sky? Can you remove the rainbow? Can you remove the waves from the ocean? Can you remove the mirage which is appearing under certain circumstances at a particular time of the day? Then what you have to do? Just accept that it is as it is. Then what do? You play with it. You know you cannot drink it. You know you cannot capture the rainbow. You know you cannot fill up your buckets from the mirage waters. Because you have understood that it is mirage. Will the mirage vanish? Will the rainbow die down the moment you recognize that it's a rainbow and you cannot catch it? It's so beautiful, I want to keep it forever. It's not possible. So you cannot do anything about virtual, you cannot do anything about illusory, but you become indifferent to it. By accepting it is the way it is. It's a phenomena which appears under certain circumstances. When the sun is not there, father will never express. Under certain circumstances. If physically that child comes in front of you, the father will come, or the thought of the child comes to you, again a phenomena, the father will come up. Just recognize this is how it works. And immediately, understanding that this is how it is, shift your attention rather than get entangled in the thought of your child. Again, shift your attention to your mantra or to the conscious self. And what will happen when you become indifferent or immune to it? The impact of the world, impact of the virtual reality and the illusory reality, which I have already explained just now. The impact will not be there on you. They will lose the capacity to entrap. Enslave the consciousness that you are. Why? You are immune, your attention is on the self, your attention is on your mantra. Anything can catch you, enslave you, only if you give it value and attention. If you don't give value attention, your attention is where? Your value giving is where? On the self, on the mantra, on the Om. Then those thoughts, they will appear for some time, then they will die away. Being immune to relative experience is being established in the absolute being. When we are completely undisturbed by what is coming and going in the outside world, in other words, the source of the outside world is the inner thoughts. When we are undisturbed by the coming and going of the thoughts, how? From the many thoughts we have come to one thought, and from that one thought we have come to the source of the thought, para. the world stops being a challenge to us. It cannot make a dent on our consciousness. The wave cannot make a dent on the ocean. Why? It's only an appearance on the top. Ocean is complete, whether a wave is there or not there. It's mithya. Thought is a mithya too. It's only an appearance on the consciousness. With reference to that appearance called thought, consciousness is called as mind. When that mithya thought dissolves, that mind is called consciousness, provided you don't go to sleep. है ना मजेदार? In Shabda Vyavahara, in the transaction of words, there are two meanings: Vachyartha, the word meaning, and Lakshyartha, the implied meaning. But in describing the truth where there is no duality, there is nothing like Vachyartha and Lakshyartha. The Mahavakyas like Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi doubtlessly establish the oneness between the relative and the absolute, but the ultimate goal is the establishment of one without a second. Ekam eva advitiyam. That being so, how can one talk about the Vachyartha and Lakshyartha in relation to the pure self? Only in the silence is the truth revealed. So, if we are lost in Vachyartha, the words, the meaning of the words, we are far away from the truth. If we are only lost in the words, we are far away from the truth. If we are lost in the meaning of the words, Lakshyartha, what the words are indicating, Acha, this word is indicating. If the word is not there, then how will I shift my attention to the self? If I don't use the word Atma, then how will I shift my attention to the Atma? If I don't use the word Narayana, how will I think of Narayana? If I don't use the word Shiva, how will I think of Shiva? This trap we have to come out. This trap will keep you in a cyclical world of the mind. Get out of it. Select Om, come to the source of Om. So whether it is the Vachyartha or the Lakshyartha, the word meaning or the implied meaning, both are important in revealing the truth. For whom is this word Lakshyartha and Vachyartha? For the individual seeker. And who is this seeker in essence? The infinite truth. If he is focused only on the word meaning and the implied meaning, then he is still in the mind. He has to get out of the mind. He has to become immune to all the words. And that is possible only by going to the source of the words. So when you chant your mantra, chant with full awareness. No hurry-burry. Chant with such calm stillness within that you are able to catch every aspect of that word that is being uttered by your throat. And shift your attention to where it is beginning from. Where it is concluding. Don't do that while cooking. You can do it there also, no problem. But you will get distracted even if something will grab your attention at that time. Oh, did I put salt or I did not put salt? Oh. In complete stillness, in that poise, you seek the source of the syllable Om. Only in the silence is the truth revealed. I have explained that in detail, how consciousness is called mind with a reference to thoughts, and when there is no reference called thought, that mind is called as consciousness. Another word that we know when there are no thoughts is called silence. Isn't it? So what are we? So is silence and consciousness separate? So that we don't create a division between silence and consciousness, the scriptures have given us a word, conscious silence. Don't try to experience silence as an objective experience. When the thoughts conclude, it's conscious silence. In the state of pure knowledge, the pure self-ignorance cannot possibly be. Enough for today. Contemplate on this. Again, and understanding is one side. What we are understanding is that truth cannot be understood. But to understand that the truth cannot be understood, the basic minimum requirement is single pointedness, which was in the 3rd or the 4th chapter of this text. Vaikhari madhyama pashanti para. Our attempt should be to make our mind single pointed, to the exclusion of everything else. With that focus, with that concentration, with that relaxed concentration, not forced concentration, with that focus, single pointedness, when we listen to this, there and then the penny drops, even while the words are coming and hitting our ears, without any delay. There is no lag period between hearing and being. There is no lag. I eat food because I was hungry, and I eat and eat and eat but there is a lag period of 2-3 hours before the food can be converted into energy and I get this, and the blood gets the nourishment, etc., etc. There's few hours goes by. But when we are single pointed, the moment the words fall on our ear, there the abidance is. That very moment, without any lag. We struggle only because we are not focused. So our attempts in our daily life should be from many to one. Many to one. And what is that one? Conscious silence. That I am. लगे रहो. ओम पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Yes, sit quietly for few moments.